Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Check, check. Can you hear me okay? Hi. Happy Sunday, guys.
You see.
Okay. Yeah? Okay, great. Let's see. I got. Oh, hi. Yeah, we're glad you can make it too. Great. This chair is like coming apart. I don't know. But this chair is like coming apart.
Welcome, guys.
This chair is like really coming apart.
Welcome back. It's nice to see you guys
Yeah.
again.
I'm gonna disappear down here for a second to fix this chair.
We're trying something different with the audio today, and the internet connection, because last week was a little bit of a nightmare. Was not happy about that. But so if you can hear us, if there's any issues on your end, please let us know. Hello, Lit Keys. Hello, Tasher. I've seen you around, Tasher, on that website that we're both on. Heather, nice to see you again. Abriel, glad you can make it. I know you said you had a new schedule, and it was a new work schedule. We got Eric back.
Hi,
Awesome.
everybody. I hope you
Hello.
guys had a good Thanksgiving. I don't know.
Yes, Thanksgiving. For those of you in the States,
Yeah.
we're entering the holiday season. We're excited about it. I love the holidays.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I love the holidays ever since I had a kid, right?
Yeah, that's the only reason I
But
care.
before I had a kid, I wasn't really big into the holidays.
Yeah, no, I'm only into the holidays for the kids too.
Yeah.
No, but it's nice. Yeah. So, how did you guys do?
Yeah.
So does he. He spends too much time on that website also.
Oh no, I'm
Kidding.
only on that
Kidding.
site like once a
I'm
day.
just giving you shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, happy Sunday, Sarah. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's great. It's great to see everybody here. I hope your guys' week was awesome. You know, I know that last week we talked a little bit about the tower and how to mitigate that kind of energy because of a certain aspect that was starting on Saturday night. And we're gonna go through the rest of the week because that aspect's gonna hold out for the rest of the week.
Woohoo.
Yeah,
Fun.
but it's good because you know, I was pointed towards something a little more positive and a little more beautiful. It's definitely one of my this week. So even though that there's a lot of bad aspects this week, it wasn't pointed towards you know, like the Book of Enoch, which is just not fun to deal with. Yeah, so we're going to be exploring Odysseus a little bit today in our esoteric readings. That's what we were pointed towards this week. And that's a beautiful story. That story makes me cry.
Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. It's
Not much.
yeah, it's Odysseus, and then like Moses going in the desert, and the journey of the Magi to the nativity. Those stories are those ones bring tears to my eyes. And beautiful.
Oh, so
But we hope you guys had a great week. This upcoming week, I think I'm going to be pumping the brakes personally, magically, because there's a lot that could go wrong with what the stars are saying. But we'll get into that.
it's always fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like there's a lot of that lately. Is it just because of the
It is
timing of the year, or is it?
it's not the timing of the year. So what is happening right now is all the planets are kind of in the same space in the sky. And as they're in the same space of the sky as the patriarchs, Jupiter and Saturn are in this grand trine, it gives a lot of opportunity for the planets to kind of come into start clashing with each other. And so this isn't normal or typical to constantly be having like as many bad aspects, except when we're dealing with the moon. And that's why the moon is known for these accelerated kind of cycles, and that the moon can be the most destructive or the most beneficial to use because the moon moves so fast. It is constantly hitting good aspects and bad aspects. So paying attention to the moon is incredibly important as we are going about our lives, and that's why it's associated with turbulence. But there are ways through it. As magicians, we are not as subject to the fates as somebody who's not a magician, right? Somebody that's not a witch, somebody that's not a wizard. We study these things and we learn how to integrate them and work through them, and that's kind of what our our spiritual practice is all about,
Right.
right? So,
Right. Hi. And I see.
hello, K-Sim. Nice to see you. So, we ran out of our myrrh resin, so we're going to be
How?
doing,
Like, yeah, we
yeah,
gotta fix
we got to
that.
get more. We went through 5 pounds of myrrh resin.
Like,
Like a huge bag.
yeah, that was a lot. Like, I'm so surprised that that's gone.
Yeah, because I use it
Or
a
yeah,
lot.
you do.
Yeah.
You do.
All right.
So, do you want a different incense?
No, we're gonna use the myrrh right here. I'm just gonna be using the myrrh sticks.
Oh,
So we're gonna start off
okay.
with our purification, go into the invocation of the goddess that Dr. Stone has written. We're gonna start incorporating that
Yeah, I worked
every
on
single
this one a
time.
little more this week because I had longer than 5 minutes, like unlike last time. So it's a bit longer, but it's not crazy long. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, cool. So we're gonna start with our invocation or our ritual purification. We're gonna be using a purifying incense. You can use sage, you can use Palo Santo. We like to use myrrh over here. But whatever incense you associate with purification, that's what you're going to be using. You're going to have gold placed on your altar to represent the sun, and you're going to have all your elements. Your incense is your air. Obviously, your candles are fire. I use kosher salt in a clay pot as my earth. And then we have consecrated holy water that we collected at a holy site, a sacred site in the southwest, and that's going to represent our water.
okay. You don't want to use the powder? Oh.
Beautiful. All right. Let's start by washing our hands in fire. We wash with fire. And burn with water. Make sure you hit all your energy centers. I purify and sublimate my mind, my body, my soul, my spirit, under the authority of the Most On High, Creator of the universe, Master of all. El Eshir Il. I purify, I consecrate, and sublimate your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul, under the authority of the Most On High, Creator of the universe, Master of all. Il Eshir Il. Now we're going to move into our alternate nostril breathing. For men, you are going to use your ring finger on your left hand, and you're going to your right nostril. Inhale, and as you're inhaling, you're going to imagine the incense, the purification, it's going into your prana channels, which go up from your nostrils to the back of your eyes, down through the center of your body, down to your genitals. And you're going to let that incense purify your prana channels. And then you're going to switch the right ring finger to the left nostril and exhale out hard and imagine black dross coming out. You're getting all the stuff out. If you are a woman, you're going to switch it and do it the other way. We're going to do it 3 times. All right. With that being done, we're going to move on to our identification with the sun. It's a guided meditation that we're going to be experiencing together. So we identify with the sun before we invoke him. We want to do we will do that identification with the sun and then move into the invocation of the goddess.
Right. Hi, Melissa.
Okay, so you're going to start relaxing. Breathe deep in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Breathe in deeply. As you breathe in deeply, your chest begins to well. And you may notice at the top of your head a light tingling sensation. It may feel warm. It may feel like your muscles on your scalp are relaxing. But you notice. And that sensation, it's going to start spreading downwards and downwards. Spreading down from your scalp to the side of your head. And down to your ears. And as this sensation begins spreading, you're going to notice the muscles in your face begin relaxing. And this sensation, it spreads downwards into your jaw. And all the tension in your jaw releases. You find it rather curious how much tension is in there without you even noticing. And that relaxation, that tingling, that warm sensation, the release of tension, it moves down, down, down. Down to your neck and your shoulders as you breathe in and out. And the sensation, it begins spreading down to your chest, your back, your torso, and begins spreading through your arms. And as it spreads, your body feels heavier, more relaxed. It spreads down to your waist, down to your hips. As you feel relaxed, calm, safe, and secure. This relaxation, it's going to move into your legs as you breathe in and out, in and out. And as that sensation, it moves through your legs, it begins approaching the floor, and once this sensation reaches your feet, you're going to cross a threshold to a deep, deep state of trance. You're going to hear me counting down from 5 to 1. And every number is going to bring us deeper into the state of trance until you hear the snap and you cross the threshold into a deep, deep state of trance. And that relaxation, it's moving through your legs. 5. Down your thighs to your knees. 4. Down to your calves. 3. Relaxed. 2. Approaching the threshold. 1. To your feet. Deep sleep. Deep sleep. You breathe in, out, so relaxed, so comfortable. And here in this deep, deep state of trance, feel safe, secure, in control, comfortable. Your thoughts may have slowed down. Your body feels heavy. And you notice above your head the sigil of the sun, glowing with gold. A circle with a dot in the center. Right above your head. It is a glowing gold sigil, and it begins pouring hot, molten gold down into your head. And now as it comes down through the top of your head, a light is cast on your mind. It is illuminated. It is golden. You feel brighter, all darkness slips away. And that gold, it begins circulating through your head, through your mind, as it goes down through the rest of your body, down through your spine, and it spreads through your blood vessels, through your nerve endings, this liquid, molten gold. And as this gold courses through your body, all pain, all stress, all tension, it releases. And your body becomes heavy as it becomes gold. You begin glowing with the radiance of the sun. And as the sigil of the sun now descends through the top of your head, down, down into your chest, right on your heart. And you feel its influence course through your body, through your mind, through your spirit. So you have become one with the sun. You have become gold. All darkness cast out. And sit here and feel this. Feel the weight of gold. Feel the illumination of your soul, of your mind. Completely identified with the sun. Here you're going to ask the sun in your head to stay with you, to participate in it, to guide you through this service and through the remainder of the week. We're going to begin ascending up from 1 to 5. Feel calm, safe, secure, refreshed, rejuvenated. 1. Rising up. 2. Body, mind, and spirit of gold. 3. Identified with the sun. 4. Glowing, radiant, illuminated. 5. Eyes open, wide awake. Welcome back.
Oh, that one that one got me.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, welcome back, guys. I see your question. Why is we crazy? Yes, you would just
Right.
you would just reverse. So with the man, it starts with the left hand over the right nostril, and for the woman, it's going to be the right hand over the left nostril.
Yeah.
Inhale. Yeah.
Inhale. Oh, I need to switch. Yeah.
Okay. So I hope you guys are feeling all relaxed, identified with the sun before we move through our service. Well, now I feel alive. That's great.
That's good.
That's what the sun should feel like. Life, generation, illumination, enlightenment.
Yeah. Okay. We're doing this now.
Okay, yes, let's do it.
Okay. Hang on just a second. I want to get. Can we put something in here? Can I put something?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Let me grab this really quick. I forgot.
Feels so much better. I'm so glad you guys enjoy that. It always feels weird doing it. I'm like, I don't know if people are getting anything out of doing a meditation over YouTube, but I'm glad you guys are getting something out of it.
I think it's. You gonna need charcoal in there too?
I've got a charcoal in here. Yeah, so Dr. Stone is going to we're doing our invocation of the goddess every single time because we all work with goddesses in that we notice in the service.
Yeah. I just am grabbing.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yes, so get out the brooms. Yes,
Yeah.
That's right, Heather. Let's get out our brooms. Yeah, we should get some brooms.
I have my
Yeah.
besoms. I make broom. That's one thing I do. I do make besoms or brooms. Witch brooms. They're pretty cute. Okay. So I don't know if any of you guys know, like I have an iron key here. I always put it down whenever I'm doing any goddess invocation because of Hecate, right? But here,
Do you have a lighter?
no, I don't have. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Oh, yay, Melissa, that makes us happy. Sometimes it's hard to get up to do it because we're like busy with kids all week, and then on Sunday we actually get to sleep in a little bit, and but we love doing this. We love it. But yeah, get out your brooms, you guys, and always, I think making your own stuff like that is always better than buying it if you can. Although it usually takes a lot of money to do those things, right? Like, what's that meme that was like, I could buy this jewelry for $5, but I'd rather make it myself for 500. Like that. That meme is pretty much sums up my hobbies. Yeah. Oh, great. That's good. Oh.
Here you go.
Oh, that's good. Awesome. Yeah, we got comments. Okay. This thing's so sketchy to me. How high do you have this on? Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, that's why. All right, cool. Ugh, it's child. Oops. There you go. This is some praise. Okay. Okay. So this one is the one that I worked on this week to be all encompassing again, but I do name some specific goddess names in here. And I tried to be wide with it so it covers anybody. Hopefully most of you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Great mother of all beginnings, she who birthed the world from shadow and fire, wisdom that moves in the deep places of the soul, we call to you. Holder of the first wisdom, whom priests once praised in smoke and thunder, be present in our breath, steady in our hearts, clear in our seeing. Hecate, triple-faced one at the crossroads and the undergate, the torch that burns without being consumed, we summon you. Isis, great enchantress of the Nile sanctuaries, who resurrects by utterance alone, we call you. Sekhmet, eye of Ra, who strides in lion-headed fire, healer by destruction, destroyer by cure, we invoke you. Selene, silver sovereign of the tides and lunation, whose chariot once marked the secret clock of temples, we name you. Athena, unblinking strategist of divine intellect, who split from the crown of God-mind itself, we invite you. Sophia, ancient aeon of underground mysteries, exalted through beyond flesh and doctrine, we call you. Goddesses of key, claw, and crescent, of flame, body, and idea, you who rule liminal places, the grave, the womb, the hidden school, the astral sea. May your strength rise in us, may your gentleness guide us, may your truth be spoken through us. Let crossroads become doorways. Let sight become recognition. Let recognition become awakening. Let awakening become power that does not kneel before doubt or sentiment. We open the gate not upward alone, not downward alone, but in the third place, where the world meets its own secret cause. Hear us, witness us, place your current in the breath of our speech, and your fire in the marrow of our intention. Lady of 1,000 names, source of life, bearer of mystery, walk with us now. So it is spoken, so the gate is opened. So it is.
Motor B.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm feeling that one.
Okay. Yeah?
That was nice. Yes. That was
It
very nice.
wasn't too long, was it? Okay.
No, it was not. I know mine are a little long-winded.
I'm impatient.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to light our incense that we associate with the sun. Over here, we like to use sandalwood for the sun.
Why is it crying? Why are we crying? Oh,
Oh,
okay,
that was
okay.
cute.
I was like, what's wrong? Are you sad? Thank you. Thank you. If you want, like, I'm happy to link it, you know, so that if you guys want it, I don't know, let me know.
All right. I offer this to thee, O soul, to you and your sphere, to you and your spirits. O soul, you who are the source of riches, the increase of strength, the honor of life, the source of splendor, and the beginning of all goodness, I entrust my entire will upon you, and with it place myself wholly in your hands. I entreat you, on account of any depression, loss, lessening of power, or the diminishing of status, I conjure you by the most on high, creator of the cosmos, the ground of being, the monad, Tohin, who is the mover of your motions and the giver of your power, through whom you accomplish your actions by the obedience with which you obey that master of the universe, by the reason you have for helping and saving those who throw themselves at you in your will, that is, those who pray to you and supplicate you with a clear and pure intent, and by the dominion and capability that that master of the universe granted you over the planets, turn yourself unto me and liberate my will. Carry it away from worry and sad contemplations. Lead me into my power, my station, and fortifications. Grant that those who seek to cast darkness at us come to our obedience and dominion. May you deign to grant the power and strength of your splendor and excellence, by which we may find fortune and influence in working upon this material earth. I conjure you by your hidden and concealed noble qualities, by the influence you have in the order of motion, by the influence, power, strength in the works you govern upon the generation of things in this world, by your piety, which reaches the meek, by your fortune, which reaches the great, by your fidelity and legality, which you have towards Master of all, Creator of the universe, who granted competence to you in beseeching you, by the ways and paths of the heavens, which have no parallel upon the earth. I conjure you by all your names. Yazemiz. So. Maer. Deus aras. You who are the light of the world, I conjure thee, heed our prayer, understand our requests, those in our hearts and those in our minds. Pay attention to our words and descend into us with great effect. All those with a pure and untarnished will towards you shall have complete identification, O great luminary. O soul, great illuminator, great combustor, please guide this service today. Guide everyone here that's gathered on this beautiful Sunday. All these magicians, these wizards, these witches, these esotericists, these mystics that have all gathered here every Sunday with you, invoke you. We ask that you help us participate in your qualities, that we become aligned to you, that we become a shining example of you here in the material realm, of your powers here on earth. Thank you, O soul, O great luminary. Please continue to guide us, combust all darkness that gets cast towards us, and cast light to shadow. Mote it be.
So it is. Nice. That was good. Great.
Okay.
I'm feeling
Great.
that.
Yeah, I feel like a little high right now.
Hey Sam, I'll be happy to write it out if you want and post it in the chat. I can do that while he's doing his astrological reading. You guys, I'll type it up for you guys if you want it. No problem. I just gotta grab it again.
Yes. Okay, let's move on to the astrological forecast, and then we'll do our readings and get into the psychic hour, questions, divinations, insights, general chat.
How's the internet? Is it better today? Because we did the hard line, and so that we don't have dropping. So
Okay.
hopefully it's better.
All right. So this week there is a lot going on today. This is our chart for today, right? So Mercury is still in Scorpio. Venus has crossed into Sagittarius. It's conjunct with the sun, and Mars is still in retrograde, hitting towards this conjunction right here. So we're seeing an introduction of a lot of feminine influence that is coming through the rest of the week. These next few weeks are going to be a lot of feminine influence. Venus is going to start playing a major role, as well as Luna. However, you're going to see the patriarchs Jupiter and Saturn. They are still sitting in this trine aspect with each other, but the sun is no longer a part of the grand trine, which would be if we drew a triangle between those three. Instead, Mercury has stepped into this grand trine, right? And so if Jupiter is going to be our priestly, like a good pope, or if he's going to be a good benefic king, and then Saturn is going to be the wise old man, that kind of stuff. Mercury hitting this aspect is going to create a kind of King Solomon kind of archetype. So a mage king, a wise mage king. However, there's something that is happening at the same time as this, and this is going for the rest of the week. So last night, Mars entered a square with Saturn, and that's why last week we talked a little bit about tower energy, because there's the tension between Mars and Saturn. However, there's also the rest of this week is going to be something known as a quincunx, and this is a not talked about often aspect, but it is a subtle tension. It is kind of a little lesser than a square, and that's happening between Jupiter and Mars. So Mars is in this tense aspect with Saturn for the rest of the week, but it's also going to be in this more subtle tense aspect with Jupiter, with the great patriarchs. So while the great patriarchs are being dignified or are in good position with Mercury creating the Solomon character, we have Mars over here, and he's off doing his own thing, and he's creating this tension between this kind of mage king archetype that's happening through the week. So there's something really interesting that's going on here. It's that the decans, which is every sign, it's divided into 3 different phases. The decans, if we're going by the Chaldean, which would be the Babylonian order that Mars is in, is one of Saturn. And the decans that Saturn is in is one of Mars. So they're being ruled by each other. And so how we're going to see this tense aspect right here is this decans that Saturn is in is known for military strategy, right? So if you were to do magic to win a battle or any kind of military strategy, you would want Saturn in this position that it's right here. And then there is this aspect where Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, but Mars is in a decans associated with Saturn, and Mars is kind of going off. He's doing his adventurous thing. So Mars in this position is an expansive adventurer. You can think of him like Napoleon, Alexander the Great. So he's going to go out and he's going to conquer. Whereas what Saturn is looking for in this conquering is something that's calculated and controlled. Like he's very much like a master of puppets kind of military strategist right here. So we're seeing that there's this tension and this weird drama that's happening between Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn for the rest of the week. It's happening the rest of the week. And during the rest of the week, the moon's position and Mars' position is going to start creating a lot of bad aspects. So personally, I don't see a good time to be doing any electional magic during the rest of the week. Maybe baneful magic is a great time for baneful magic with all this tension in the sky. But I'm going to be pumping the brakes. We're not going to see a release of all this tension until Saturday, but there's still going to be that square between Mars and Saturn. So these two archetypes that we are dealing with right here remind me of these great journey of the Magi, right? The journey of the Magi from Persia or Egypt or wherever they came from. When we're talking about the Christmas nativity scene, it was three magicians that showed up in Jesus's manger. The King James Bible, it changed the translation to wise men because they didn't want to be associating magicians with the nativity. But if you look at the original Bible, the original Gospels, they were Magi. They were Magi from Persia that approached Jesus. And what they did at the nativity is they gave him 3 esoteric ingredients, something that is very important. They gave him gold, right? And we work with gold every single Sunday together. Well, we know what that is a symbol of. It's a symbol of enlightenment, of illumination, of true will, our identified true will. They give him frankincense. Frankincense is associated with Jupiter, right? Frankincense is that Jupiterian energy. And they also give him myrrh. And myrrh is associated with Luna and Saturn, right? Myrrh is the cleaning catharsis kind of thing. And they would use it in Egypt in funerary processions. And an Egyptian funeral is basically going to be something that is, it's a celebration. It's not the grief that we associate funerals with today. They would throw these festivals and march the casket down the street and everybody's cheering and celebrating because to them, this person is being resurrected, right? So very, very interesting that the magicians, the Magi that approach Jesus at the nativity scene, that give him these gifts or whatever, they are guided by a North Star. Why are they guided by a star? Well, because they're astrologers. They're magicians. That's how they got there. That's how they knew this was going to happen. That's why they had been journeying, right? But I think we see that kind of aspect happening with this grand trine between Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter. But we see another archetype, which is, I think, more vitally important happening this week, and it's what Mars is doing here. Mars is going off on his own, and he's doing what he can against the patriarchs, against the tides of the fates, right? Jupiter is in control of the fates, that kind of thing. And Mars is running off. He's really ambitious. And this is actually pointing towards a different story from the ancient theology, from the Greek theology, and it's Odysseus, and that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So I think if you're going to be doing any elections this week, I think it's a great time. Military strategy, right? So how do you flip that? Like what's your military strategy, right? I mean, obviously you're not running an army. So I mean, maybe it's attacking a project at work or something like that. That's what I would be using this week, this military strategy kind of magic, you know. And then Saturday we're going to, I'm recommending that we're going to do divine feminine goddess work either in Venus's hour or Luna's hour on Saturday night, because that's what the stars are kind of indicating. And we're going to see in Odysseus that this is the kind of antidote for the journey that we as magicians are on during this time. So Perfect. That's exactly what I need right now. Baneful.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't needed to do any of that for a long time. Thank God. Thank goodness, because, you know.
Okay, let me see. I gotta get out the readings. So we're doing 2 readings today. We're going to do a reading from Odysseus, from Homer, and then we're going to do a reading from Thomas Taylor, who is a Platonist and esotericist from the 19th century. My dear young friend, now that you speak of it, I hear a crowd of suitors for your mother lives with you, uninvited, making trouble. Now tell me how you take this. Do the people side against you, hearkening to some oracle? Who knows? You, father, might come home someday, alone or backed by troops, and have it out with them. If gray-eyed Athena loved you the way she did Odysseus in the old days, in Troy country, where we all went through so much, never have I seen the gods help any man as openly as Athena did your father. Well, as I say, if she cared for you that way, there would be those to quit this marriage game. But prudently, Telemachus replied, I can't think what you say will ever happen, sir. It's a dazzling hope, but not for me. It would not be, even if the gods willed it. The Lord of the Western approaches. At this, gray-eyed Athena broke in, saying, What strange talk you permit yourself, Telemachus. A god could save man by simply wishing it, from the farthest shore in the world. If I were he, I should prefer to suffer years at sea, and then be safe at home. Better that than a knife at my hearthside, where Agamemnon found it, killed by adulterers. Though as for death, of course, all men must suffer it. The gods may love a man, but they can't help him when cold death comes to lay him on his bier. Telemachus replied, Mentor, grievously though we miss my father, why go on as if that homecoming could happen? You know the gods had settled it already years ago, when dark death came for him. But there is something else I imagine Nestor can tell us. Knowing as he does the ways of men, they say his rule goes back over 3 generations, so long, so old, it seems death cannot touch him. Nestor, Neleus' son, true sage, say, how did the lord of the great plains, Agamemnon, die? What was the trick against those to lull the better man? And Menelaus, where was he? Not at Argos in Achaia, but blown off course, held up in some far country. Is that what gave the killer nerve to strike? So in this passage, we see Odysseus' son. He is basically inquiring, reflecting upon his father's sojourn and journey with a wise old sage, with a mentor, that kind of thing. What I think is really, really interesting is that Athena takes over, the mentor, right? Basically possesses him and starts speaking through him. When she says, what strange talk you permit yourself, a god could save the man by simply wishing it. So one of the things that we notice in this passage, and one of the things about Odysseus, is it basically claims that, Athena loved Odysseus. Athena favored him, and she watched over him, and Athena is one of the highest goddesses in the Greek pantheon. She's the wife of Zeus, right? However, in the story of Odysseus, even though Athena loved Odysseus, because he was this journeyer, he went out to Troy, and then he spent 10 years coming back from Troy, going through all these turbulent trials, like he met with the sirens, and he battled the Cyclops. He's going through all these trials as he's returning over the ocean these 10 years from the Battle of Troy. And Athena is watching over him the whole time, and she deeply, deeply loves him. But he does end up upsetting Poseidon, because he kills one of the sons of Poseidon, right? And so Zeus ends up punishing Odysseus for this. He uses Zeus, who's Jupiter, he's in charge of the fates, He ends up punishing Odysseus for upsetting Poseidon, for killing Poseidon's son. And this is kind of like a retribution, right? And Athena's basically saying that in this, that, look, you can't really do anything about the fates. If you're going to be on this journey, there are things that are going to happen that are going to correct your course, right? That is the sojourn of Odysseus. And that's why Athena loves him so much. That's why the divine feminine, the goddess, loves Odysseus so much. It's because he's willing to go on that journey. He's willing to face those trials, even if it means that there is, within the fates, he's going to get punished. He still persists, right? And so Zeus isn't necessarily punishing Odysseus from a wrathful place, but just a place of this, like, you did this and this is what happens, right? This is kind of the point of Odysseus's journey. His journey is trying to return home, right? He's trying to return to Ithaca after this battle in Troy. And so really what we're seeing, what Mars is doing this week is this, it's very much Odysseus. He's going against the patriarchs. He's going against the fates, right? And he's making this sojourn, this adventurous sojourn. See, Mars is an adventurer this week. And his being an adventurer, he's going against the structure of Saturn and the kind of patriarchal rules of Jupiter, right? But this is kind of the beauty where Venus is stepping in and Luna is stepping in and aspecting Mars, because they're serving as his guide through this time as Mars, as a youthful adventurer, as he kind of goes against the great patriarchs, because he's on this journey. He's on his own right now in the sky. So we're going to read a passage now from On the Wandering of Ulysses by Thomas Taylor. The next adventure of Ulysses is that of the Cyclops, whom he deprived of sight and irritated by reproaches. But according to Porphyry, in the above-mentioned excellent treatise, this is no other than the natal daemon of Ulysses, or the daemon to whose protecting power he became subject, as soon as he was born. In order, however, to understand perfectly the arcane meaning of this fable, it is necessary to observe that according to the ancient theology, those souls that in the present life will speedily return to their pristine felicity in the intelligible world have not the essential daemon, or the daemon which is inseparable from the essence of the soul, different from the daemon that presides over their birth, for they are one and the same. But the case is otherwise with more imperfect souls, as the natal is in these different from the essential daemon. As Ulysses, therefore, does not rank among the more perfect heroes, and was not one who in the present life is immediately ascending to his kindred star, or in Platonic language, to the paternal port, the soul's true paradise of rest, but was a man who, prior to this, had many laborious wanderings to accomplish, and many difficulties and dangers of no common magnitude to sustain. His natal was not the same with his essential daemon, as he is, however, departing from a sensible to an intellectual life, though circuitously and slowly, he is represented in so doing as blinding and irritating his natal. For he blinds the eye of sense and extinguishes its light. After his will was profoundly assented to its use, must expect punishment for the deed, a necessary ultimately to his own peculiar good, and the general order of the universe. Indeed, troubles and misfortunes resulting from such undertakings not only contribute to appease the anger of their authors, but likewise purify and benefit the subjects of their revenge. According to the Greek theology, therefore, he who, in the present life, while he is in the road of virtue and is eagerly searching for wisdom, perceives that there is a great resemblance between his destiny and that of Ulysses, he may safely conclude that either here or in a prior state of existence, he has voluntarily submitted to the power of his natal daemon and has now deprived him of sight, or in other words, has abandoned a life of sense, and that he has been profoundly delighted with the nature of matter and is now abrogating the confessions which he made. So what's happening here is Ulysses is the Latin name for Odysseus, so that's why he keeps using Ulysses, right? So we're still talking about the same person.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So within the symbolism of the Cyclops and Odysseus slaying the Cyclops, he's basically comparing the Cyclops because it's one eye, it is a creature of sense, right? So we're talking about a material existence, a sense existence. But what's really interesting here is Thomas Taylor is talking about how there's two daemons, right? And when we're talking about spirit guides, right? When they're saying daemon, it's Daemon. He's talking about a natal daemon, which is the daemon of your natal chart. And he's also talking about an essential daemon. daemon in essence, right? So this is what your soul is made out of, is split off of, and has probably not been incarnated before, right? So he's talking about how there's these two different daemons, and that there are those who ascend to a demigod, right? If we're talking about a Hercules kind of character, that Hercules' natal daemon is in complete harmony with his essential daemon. But Odysseus is not that man. Odysseus faces many trials and tribulations during his return home to Ithaca, right? And Ithaca is symbolic of the intelligible realm, or the return. We keep incarnating here so that we can learn a lesson, so that we can return to our oneness, our allness, or whatever it is, self-deification, right? Odysseus is not a demigod. He is a man that has surrendered himself to discovering his essential nature, right? So beforehand, Odysseus is subject to the senses, right? And he's subject to the natal daemon. He's subject to the fates from his astrological chart, right? But as he gives himself over to the essential daemon, who he is in essence, while he's trying to return home, right, he begins irritating the fates, and that's why he has to go through these tribulations. However, Athena, in the reading before, this is why Athena loves Odysseus so much. This is why Athena looks after Odysseus and helps him, because she recognizes, she knows that, look, you are coming home. You are making the decision to come home. You are no longer surrendered to the fates, to your circumstances of your birth. You are now instead tearing yourself away from that and surrendering yourself to your return home, to your oneness, to your allness, right? And so this is why those tribulations happen, and this is what the great Homeric Odyssey is all about. It's about, how do we, surrender our material existence? How do we give that up? And in that process, we're going to be irritating our fates, our natal daemon, right? Because it's split into two, and start aligning ourselves to our essential nature, which is, in Crowley terms, the true will, right? The essential daemon. Okay, that which is transcends just our one birth chart, right? Because let's say if we were talking about reincarnation, we have, how many birth charts do we have, right? Throughout the course of our lives and lives, okay? So there has to be a different natal daemon for each incarnation. However, there is one daemon, one spirit, that is amongst all those. And that is the essential daemon. That is the one that keeps sending us back here, that keeps following us through every incarnation. That is the true self, right? And that's what Odysseus is doing in his journey. He's giving up the natal daemon, the fate of his single incarnation. He's giving that up. And he's instead surrendering himself to his essential nature. And because he's doing that, he's irritating the natal daemon. He's irritating the fates, right? But that's a part of the process.
Like being that's the incongruence of life, right?
Yeah.
Basically. So like how we have to succumb to the material stuff because we're here in a material plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, know that there's something else that's bigger and still be honorable to that.
Yes.
Right? That's hard. It's really hard.
Well, it's hard, but it says specifically in here that when a magician starts doing this, and we see this a lot, we talk about this a lot, when a magician, an esotericist, when somebody starts doing this, a mystic, then all of a sudden there's this snapback, right? There's stuff gets a little chaotic, right? And so we call these initiations or whatever they are in modern parlance. We call it an initiation, rough initiation or whatever it is. But it's saying that this is a sure sign that you are on the right path. Yeah. If these obstacles keep like showing up, these are the tests, and this is the goddess, that Athena, that is watching over you, and she is watching you with love. She is watching you as you are on the right path. Thomas Taylor here says it is a surefire indication, if you can compare yourself with the trials and tribulations of Odysseus, a surefire indication that you are aligning yourself with your true will, with your essence.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah. I guess I'm all right now. That's sad. You don't want to come back as a Capricorn. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I definitely can resonate with that. I think that it starts to clap back at you, snap back at you, whatever you want to call it, in the beginning, but at some point it kind of starts to
Yeah, it mellows out.
uh,
Yeah.
have some, equilibrium for us. And that's funny because look at this spread I just pulled, okay? So like I was just collective, let's see what's up. And it's literally as he's telling the story. I didn't hear this. He did not give me this whole story. Did you read both of those to me last night?
No, I didn't. I only read Odysseus too.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So you didn't read me the second one. And as I'm turning the cards out, they're like basically imitating exactly what he's saying, which is interesting. Yeah, okay, so it's a commentary you read on the Odyssey, a book, or in the literature critique. Thomas Taylor was the name. What book is that? Is that the
I believe it. Man, I can't remember. It's in the back of one of his translations of Porphyry. I think it's about 22 pages, but if you Google "On the Wanderings of Ulysses" by Thomas Taylor, you'll be able to find it. That one's really insightful, and it influenced Manly P. Hall. He does a lecture on Odysseus, the Esoterics of Odysseus, and he's pulling from that commentary that Thomas Taylor did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's from PRS, right? It's like
Yeah. So those are, yeah. So if you want to get more into the esoterics of Odysseus, the Thomas Taylor on the Wanderings of Ulysses, that is going to be like kind of the ground zero of like the esoteric reinterpretation of it. And then Manly P. Hall also has a famous lecture that deals with the same kind of material.
cool. Yeah, like so I did like just while he's doing that, I was pulled cards for a general overview reading, and I'll just tell you guys what cards I got. The Hanged Man, Justice, King of Wands, Judgment, Two of Pentacles, the Chariot, the Sun, the Star, Five of Swords, and Temperance. So, like, to me, I'm seeing, okay, someone, or there's a feeling of being, like, stuck, just kind of stagnant or stuck and not knowing where to go, or waiting on some kind of vindication or justice to happen for something, and it's just not happening. But being someone that's built up everything from the ground up, Judgment is definitely, I keep Justice and Judgment are both here, so that means somebody wants that. And then juggling things, obviously, but that's past. So current is Chariot, like everything's start coming quickly, and things are going to be illuminated, and the Star is working in your favor. The fear is that there's people working against you. You could be working against yourself even. But the last message is Temperance, meaning like patience, grasshopper. All good things come in divine timing kind of vibe here. And it's taking this long for a reason, right? Like these things are happening because they need to play out the way they're supposed to. That's what I get from that reading, which is basically what you were just saying in so many words. Like you have to take into account that these things happen for a reason.
Well, yeah, I think so. The Hanged Man card at the does this go in order like this way? Okay.
Yeah. So these two would be crossed. It would be Hangman crossed by, or Justice crossed by Hangman.
So the Hanged Man card specifically, we're talking about the way that I've always interpreted the Hangman is the man with his head in the material, but his feet in the heavens, right? Yeah. And so this is kind of what
different perspective.
Whereas like the mystic would have his head in the heavens and his feet on the material. The magician is the reverse. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because we use practical magic or whatever. But it's also Odysseus right there. The Hanged Man is Odysseus because he is the man that is like on this crazy worldly journey where he's going through all these trials and tribulations, and he goes to war in Troy, which is absolutely insane, and then he's trying to make his way back home. So his feet are trained. His feet are trained to walk home, to return to source, right? Yep. But his head is still here in the material, and that's what Thomas Taylor was saying about his battle with the Cyclops. It was basically the Cyclops was representing his attachment to his sensory perceptions.
Right. And then King of Wands is what do you take from this? This is the current space the people are in right now. This is building up. This is somebody that's building their own.
Well, I said Solomon the king, right? So Solomon would be the king of wands, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's one of the that's the Grand Trine. The Grand Trine is like the great mage king, right? That's happening this week. But then Mars is Odysseus.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have Judgment here, and that is I don't know. Does this like feel like maybe it's a soft, like a false start judgment, like almost, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're getting, people are thinking it's coming, but it didn't, or I'm not sure. And there's a lot of just back and forth here,
Well,
back
yeah.
and
Okay.
forth.
So there's the two.
Ugh,
So the two of dis right there. So we have judgment going into a two of dis.
yeah,
Now in Kabbalah you have the concept of justice, right?
right.
And on either side you have judgment and mercy. So like the concept of justice, what is just, what is correct, what is harmonious. On one side is judgment. You have to judge, and then you have to balance that with mercy. So we see the Two of Pentacles coming after judgment. What are you balancing that judgment with?
Yeah,
Balancing it with mercy, right?
right. And then in this future position or near future is the Chariot, which is continue to go forward, or things happening quickly. And then the Sun illuminating things, bringing things to light. That is the current, or that is the what's happening now. And then the Star is the forces working for or against you. Star is always a great card. You can't get better than that one for those. Then the fears or hopes is a Five of Swords. So yeah,
I don't like swords.
I mean, this always happens though. There's always somebody doing something weird behind your back.
So Melissa said that she's waiting on law enforcement to do something, and
So I'm going bankrupt.
now she's going to take
I
matter
feel
into
that.
her own
Okay.
hands. Yeah.
Trust me. This is the only time I've ever
Magically.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's law enforcement involved, I'm gonna assume that
They're
right
incompetent?
there. Yeah, no, well, yeah, that too. That too. Especially if anytime it has to do with any kind of like domestic situation or kid situation, they're always, or any kind of like, they're always fail at that shit. It's unreal to me. But yeah, like sometimes they need a nudge sometimes. But I would say be careful. Make sure that that you're in the right. Like this is my only about baneful magic, because I know this is like a touchy subject. I know you don't do it, okay? But I do, and I do it rarely. But I do it in situations where I know that, like, objectively speaking, like I'm right. Like there's no there's no gray area. It's like you did something wrong, and now you're gonna pay for it. Like, period. In a story, full stop. But in those cases where you might be a little bit to blame or something, I would not advise it. But if it's something like if someone messes with my kids, okay, you know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's curse those kids. But I wouldn't. But I was thinking about it. I didn't though, I swear. But there's sometimes, and sometimes they just need a little nudge. But just do it. Make sure you've thought about it, well before you do. But yeah, no one will rain on my parade. Yeah, okay. No. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I see what is Heather saying about Thanksgiving. Okay, yeah, I want to hear what you guys had to do on Thanksgiving. Like, how was your Thanksgiving? Anyone have any family BS or whatever? And Icarus. It's funny. Sarah,
Icarus, yeah.
Sarah, there's Fish has a song called Icarus.
Yeah, so I always think of Icarus. So the sun has a quality of combustion, especially when you're dealing with astrology and astrological magic. And so it can immolate stuff. It can light stuff on fire when it's too close to it. And so obviously, that's the story of Icarus. So when I do baneful magic, that's usually what I lean into. It's like, okay, I'm going to immolate you with the illumination. Like, but once again, it's like you're putting you have to be in the right there. Like if I ask the sun to immolate all darkness and I'm the darkness, then it's gonna set me on fire,
Yeah. Like, look at so Melissa saying that there's evidence and of several crimes, essay.
Oh yeah.
And this person dorms with my daughter, and ooh, I feel like I know what you mean by that. Okay, that is not cool at all. And yeah, it's your kids. What the hell are you gonna do? I'm sorry. All gloves are off when it comes to kids, especially I've done many times for my kids. And when you're right, you're right. And especially if it's a touchy subject, like I feel like this one is for reasons that shouldn't be touchy, but they are these days. I feel like, you know, if people are going to provide more protection for the person that's accused of doing the crime, then
Yeah.
fuck that. Sorry. No, say it. Like, law enforcement just gets their heads out of their asses, figure that shit out. So I think, oh, most like, do it. Yeah, do what you gotta do. I'm sorry. I'm sure he has no part of that. That's all me saying that. Okay, so I just letting you know. And Heather, good way to handle it. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I meant when I said that. Like, you gotta not let people dictate your time, right? Like, so if you go to have a nice holiday gathering and someone's trying to start shit or give you the stank eye, that's their problem. That says more about them than it does about you. And you ignoring that and just having the best time is the best thing that you could have possibly done. And handling it later, as you did. Good job. That's really great. Oh, it's by Bast. Okay, yeah, sorry. I was thinking of the indie rock band Fish. That jam band, yeah, they're jam band. But yeah, that's awesome, you guys. Not the essay thing. That's not awesome, but Oh, wait, okay. So I'm assuming, let me just ask, am I assuming that are they co-ed dorms? Is that what they're doing or no? You know what I mean? Oh, that's so frustrating. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry your daughter is dealing with that. That sucks. Oy, I know. Oh my gosh. Terrible. But, I think it'll. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna check it. I'm gonna look into it really quick for you and see what it says because that.
She said it is co-ed.
Co-ed. So they let guys and girls share dorms together in college. I get that happens in real life, but like that just seems like asking for trouble. Personally, I don't know. How would you feel about your little one going to college and having
my little one's too little to think about that.
No, yeah, it's gonna happen fast.
I know it's gonna happen fast.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's see. See that, and is it because they identify a certain way? Is that what it is about? That's why they don't touch it. Well, baneful, yes.
Painful.
Heather's like, yeah, baneful. Yeah. See, it's the moms in the group. They're like, yeah. It's like, you can't help it. It's your kids. Like, you gotta, and especially when you're sitting there watching the incompetency, like Keystone Cops over here, like, or what is it? What the Keystone Cops, right? That's
Yeah.
right? Okay, yeah. Yeah.
No issues with baneful.
Not when you're right. You gotta know that you're right. You can't just be a dick though, like going around like, I see those kids, I hate to say, but like youngers, just new into it, and they're like, my neighbor looked at me funny, I'm gonna hex them. Okay. Have fun with that. Like, that's not gonna go well for you. Like that stuff, no, that's stupid. But if it's something that's real, like this, where people are actually in danger, yeah.
To do a working for discipline motivation spell to get my life together. Since it's a baneful week, I could do a domination spell or something of that matter. So, yeah. So Mars is gonna get slapped back. That's what's going on right here. Anything that Mars is doing this week is so you don't want to attack it from Martian angle. Anything that Mars is doing this week is going to feel a little bit unsettling because of the aspect that it has with Jupiter. It's not going to feel right. So Mars is adventurous and ambitious right now, but underneath it, there's going to be a subtle, like, something here is not right, and that's its negative aspect with Jupiter. However, the decans that Saturn is in right now is specifically for strategy, calculating, planning, that kind of thing. So if I were you, I would do Deccan's magic. Deccan's magic. And so the Egyptians, they segregated everything into 10 degrees, which would give us 36 decans around here. So every single sign has 3 decans in it, and every single decans is ruled by a different planet. The decans that Saturn is in right now, the last decans of Pisces in the Chaldean order, is ruled by Mars. And so when this right here, it's Saturn in this decans of Mars. So if you want to Google how to work with the third face of Pisces, or do decans magic with the third face of Pisces, you'll be able to find stuff online. It's in a lot of old grimoires. I think Thelema works with decans a lot too, but there is an image associated with that. I can actually pull that image up for you. I can give you instruction on that, and that would help you with the discipline that you are looking for. Anything that when it talks about anything that's happening when it's talking about like ambition or motivation, Mars is going to get smacked down. So I'd kind of avoid that this week.
Melissa, like I see, okay, so what I see here is that High Priestess, intuition, trust it, you know what you're doing. The wheels of, and then Knight of Pentacles, everything's turning slowly, going slowly, because money, there's like a money thing here. I don't know, maybe his parents have connections or something like that. It looks like there's probably some money issues here, like where the you know, the person that's causing the problem is connected in some way, so they don't want to ruffle feathers. But looks like there's going to be somebody else involved here that is blind to that situation, like as in they don't care and they're going to go forward with it anyway, and so it will get taken care of eventually here. Grad school, how awesome, Sarah. That's great. Grad school's awesome. I love it so much. I loved it so much. I went so many times.
Okay, so it doesn't have an image associated with it. All right. So yeah, I guess with this, you might be able to find online an image associated with the third face of Pisces. You can use the sigils though. So the third face of Pisces is ruled by Mars. Saturn's in it. Just try to access that, and that'll help you with your planning, getting your life the discipline.
Yeah. I say, if you don't have haters, you ain't doing it right, Heather. So there's that, you know. Seriously. Like, I would say that. I make myself feel better when I got haters. I'm like, oh, they're just jealous.
Hello, Clean Channel. New to the occult, can recommend some books to start with. How are you with older literature? I know older literature, for some people, it takes some time to learn how to read it. Are you comfortable with reading older literature?
Or books.
Yeah.
I mean, he asked for books, so I'm assuming yes. Or they asked for books, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never know.
Also a Pisces on top of that? Awesome. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you said your return started 2 years ago, right, Golden Eagle? Or 3 years ago? Yeah, Saturn is really strong. Saturn's been extremely strong these past few weeks. I think since we started this, and winter is definitely his season. It's a great time to be working with him, especially since he's in Pisces.
Wow. Yeah. I hope so too. And we're doing anything with the box.
Yeah, we're gonna explore our chest again at the end, our box.
Right.
You might notice that it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
We painted it based on our instructions, but we're gonna be doing group magic together at the end, and we're gonna be doing it with these with this box, right? So,
You know, yeah, that was really great last week. We were really tripping on.
yeah, I was tripping on that for a while. I couldn't believe it.
I know, it was crazy. I love that.
All right, Clean Channel. All right, well,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
going to go ahead, Clean Channel. I'm going to recommend you, I think, turning 27 soon, so think it's starting soon. Okay, that was somebody else.
35, yeah.
Okay, it should be 30. That's the Saturn return.
It's
Yeah,
30? I thought it was older than that.
Okay. So Clean Channel. I'm gonna recommend. I think Agrippa. 3 books of occult philosophy. If you understand the 3 books of occult philosophy, basically any system of magic is going to make sense to you. It's a good ground floor. It's kind of it sits at this intersection of the old world and the new world. So ceremonial magic, 19th century magic will make sense to you if you understand Agrippa, and then like medieval magic and classical magic will make sense to you if you understand Agrippa. So you'll see if you're exploring older magic like classical and medieval, you'll see how Agrippa changed it. And then if you're exploring like Victorian magic or modern magic, you'll see how Agrippa influenced it. So that's a really good place to start. If you want to get right out of the gate, The Magus by Francis Barrett is extremely practical. I think the recommended beginner grimoire for anybody that wants to get into the grimoire tradition, like the older kind of ceremonial kind of stuff, is the Ars Arbitel. That's a pretty safe tome to be working with, and you're going to understand, once again, a lot of different strains of magic if you develop a mastery over that. So
Yeah.
those would be my recommendations.
And then that comment about Dion Fortune says, yes, I love, and her books are great. Those are good to read, easy to read, and pretty well informed. Some of the stuff might be a little questionable because of beliefs back then, but yeah.
I think my favorite resource right now, Why Is We Crazy, is Introduction to Astrology, Benjamin Dykes. It's a translation from Abu Mashar, and Abu Mashar was the his Introduction to Astrology tome was the premiere of astrology in the Middle Ages, and that once again is an intersection tome. It's classical astrology, and then it sets the kind of standard for astrology going forward. I think if you're learning electional astrology or astrology, and if you want to see what started modern astrology, that's going to be I think Eric can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's William Lilly, but it's called Christian astrology. The reason it's called Christian astrology was because the time that it was written, he had to call it a Christian astrology so he didn't get burned or prosecuted. But it's basically, that is going to be ground zero for modern astrology, and it's going to get into the more intense stuff. It's like a textbook. I personally like Introduction to Astrology, Benjamin Dykes' translation of Abu Mashar. That is like an encyclopedic work to me. I'm constantly going back to it, referring to it. It's a reference guide for me, and that one right there, that's how the Renaissance astrologers learned. They learned off of that one. That's how the medieval astrologers learned. They learned off of that one. So if you want to get into like the really powerful predictive kind of classical astrology, I would recommend that tome.
What about Heather said, what if you don't want to do that? What if you don't want ceremonial magic? So what do you want? What are you looking for?
Ceremonial magic.
What is she? Well, I want to know what she's looking for.
What, Heather?
Yeah. You just want
a book of spells. My favorite book of witchy spells is going to be the PGM, the Greek Magical Propriety.
That's not really reasonable. That one's kind of crazy.
Better books.
Oh, okay, so I would go with Spiral Dance. That's the first book I ever got. It was called The Spiral Dance by Starhawk, and it just kind of goes over everything. It's not really a spell book, though. It's more like just a philosophy of it book. But there's a lot. Like, there's so much. I can send you a list of books to read. I have like hundreds of them over here. I can message you a list of books if you want. And also, like, I have an online library of occult books that's really big. It has like 3,000 texts in it. And I'm more than happy to share it with people if they want. So all you have to do is just send me your email address, and I can just send you access to view, and you can look and check out the books anytime you want. I inherited it from a friend of mine who I was in school with, who passed away, unfortunately. And right before he passed away, we were he was holding classes on alchemy outside of school, and then I don't know why he picked me to be the kind of gatekeeper for his library, but he did. So yeah, I still share it out whenever, and it has it has everything in it, but it's organized pretty well, like in folders that give you different So if you want, that's great. What are your thoughts on Carlos Castaneda books?
I love him. I was I think my first branch of mysticism when I was a teenager was Carlos Castaneda, Aldous Huxley, kind of like psychedelic kind of stuff.
Yeah, for baneful magic though, I have that one. Is it over there? The one I got. This one's hard. I don't know if it's still hard to get. Where is it? The library. The Hecate one that I have.
Oh, the Hecate on?
No, not that one. That one too, but that one's pretty expensive and also. But the other one is the paperback one that I have that my friend wrote. He has a witchcraft store in Burbank, or his friend wrote it actually. Is it library? Where is that? Is it behind you? I can't tell. Let's see.
Oh, Liber Cathania?
Yeah. Is it over there? That one's baneful as hell. Yeah, like that one's crazy.
That one might be in the living room. I feel like I saw it in there.
In the living room? I believe that I put it back in here, but yeah. It's not over here. Huh. It's not over there?
No, I'm pretty sure it's in the living room.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one's good though.
Okay. Didn't Agrippa write a library of books? He did. Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy. Those are the ones that I was referencing. There's a 4th book of occult philosophy, but that's more than likely a pseudepigraphic work and not actually from him. The best way to message.
Oh yeah. You can Facebook me.
Yeah, she says you can Facebook her, Annalise Stone, or we do have an email. It's discourse email attached to the YouTube channel. That goes to me, and I can just forward you to her. Oh yeah, I think introduction when I was 17. I know it's not tied to ceremonial magic, but it still changed my perspective on stuff. So that's why I was curious. Yeah, I think that realm of kind of psychedelic and American mysticism, I guess, it's really popular with teenagers at this age to be into it. That's what like introduced me to the idea that, things were not what they seemed. But I was an atheist at the time, so I didn't know what I was looking for. And then I think it was around 18, I had an experience that convinced me that it was like, oh, I'm looking for God. And that's when I stopped using the psychedelics and doing the psychedelic mysticism.
Yeah, I really can't find that. It's like really weird. But yeah, I wanted to show that book because it's super full of like really painful magic, and it's probably the scariest one I have. I think it's worse than the Red Dragon, personally.
Oh,
but it's really good for spells, but it has like a lot of really hard to get ingredients too, or like maybe expensive, like or just inconvenient, but still doable. But yeah, I'm happy to share that book, the library, or send out recommendations if you guys want to hit me up. Also on my channel, I guess you can send messages. Can you send messages on YouTube? I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, just message me. It's Anna Lee, all one word, ANNALEE, and then Stone, and then you'll see my face and it'll say college professor occultist. Like that's me. That's on Facebook, or on TikTok it's Stone Esoteric, or Instagram Stone Esoteric, whatever. It doesn't matter, but I'm happy to share that with you guys. I like sharing knowledge and books personally, and that digital. I like hard copy books personally, but because of the day and age we're in and the shareability, right? It's good. So I don't either, Heather. I don't. I'm like solo. I tried that and it was a disaster. So, I find a lot of the coven stuff is real, how do I say?
What?
I don't know. Drama? It's drama.
Yeah, drama.
It's fucking drama.
That's my experience with organized orders has always been that it's all power politics. But it's like it's a false power because it's like really the only, like, okay, let's say you're in charge of the lodge or the order. It's like the only people you actually have influence over are the people in that order, right? And it's a bunch of occultists. So it's like you don't really actually have power. So I don't understand why people get so wrapped up in fighting for power in orders and lodges, because it's a false power. It's not a real power, right? It's like a property management company has more power than
I was gonna say HOA.
the archmagus of an
Or
order
HOA.
or a coven or whatever, you know.
Like the
Yeah.
HOA could come and tell us to take our
Yeah.
decorations down.
It's like I would much rather, if I was seeking power, I would invest my time in something that wasn't like just a group of magicians.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
I like high magic. Low magic does seem more popular.
Yeah, because it's easier, right? Like it's always like the low hanging fruit. Like
What?
it's like like the simpler stuff is it's just easy if people don't want to take the time.
Well, I think it's like practical magic,
Right.
and I
well,
don't
there's
think
practical magic and then there's like crap
because
magic.
like high magic is, that's the term. I don't know if I really agree with that term just because of the connotations those words seem to have, but high magic is supposed to be when you're doing magic to refine your soul. Right. It's like alchemy, right? Uh-huh. And then they would call anything that is about like, I'm trying to get revenge, or I'm trying to get money, or I'm trying to get a girlfriend. They would call that low magic, which it's like, I think it's like a little silly to walk into high magic and be like, oh, I'm too good for low magic. And it's like, well, the only reason high magic exists is because of low magic, you know, like you wouldn't be doing high magic to develop your soul if low magic didn't work, right? Because no,
it does work. I mean, it both work. But like, I think this point here is good about the, being a devotee for guidance, not for rules. Okay, so I agree with that. That is one of the reasons I didn't like the coven thing. Also, because my experience was really cheesy. Like, it was really, really off-putting. Like, I had moved to LA and I was so excited because I'm like, I'm in a big city now and I'll find, other witches. And I did at a local, witchcraft store that's run by like someone from the movie The Craft. So I'll just say that. Okay. And she owned it, or did. I don't know if she still does. And she had nothing to do with this, but that was just her shop. And I got invited to a thing. It was for Mabon. And I went and I wore my normal clothes, which was like a cute, like little dress. Whatever. And I got there and it was like a hot topic, like convention. I don't know. Everybody was just dressed like super, and whatever, that's fine. But they were mean to me, like, because I didn't look like them. And they were like, okay, preppy. They call me preppy and shit like that. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? And they were just really, it was so off-putting and gross. It made me totally turn off from that idea. And then that for like 20 years. And then I recently did it kind of with my friend, Stephanie, who had a coven in our old, where I'm from, Fresno. And I'm not part of it, but I was in like the online group, right? And oh my God, the fucking drama in that shit was just like, I'm 47 years old. I do not have time to play games with little girls. I just don't. And they were all, it was just so, it was really gross. It was like, I can't believe this is going on. You guys are adults. Like, what the fuck? But you're right. It's like there's power struggles and there's all these things. So I don't like being told what to do either. And I think that when you're doing witchcraft now, ceremonial and ritual magic, I guess, is different because you guys do have things you follow and their rules, right?
Yeah.
I don't go for that. Like, that's where you and I differ. I'm like, I do what I want, right? Like, that's why I like this path for me, because it's like I just intuitively know what to do and it's okay. But I can't tell you how many times in that group online that someone would tell me that's not how you do it, and I'm like, why did it work then, dumbass? Like, I just, and I'm not nice like that. Like, I can't just be like, oh, thanks for your advice, I'm gonna call you out and tell you you're stupid. So like, it didn't work out nice for me. Like, a lot of the girls thought I was scary. The other thing, they were scared of me, and I don't know why, but they were part of that ritual. The video guy that I shared with you guys is that group of girls. Oh my gosh, they were, I know, they were scared of me after that ritual, and like, whatever, and then gossip, and I'm just like, wow, bye. so I left, and I'm like not playing that stupid. So I personally work alone or with Abammon. Like that's it. It does help. We do. I think more than one person helps, right? Like
Yeah,
if you
no, it
can.
does. So
Yeah.
group rituals are group rituals are awesome and they're powerful. A lot. I think they're a lot more powerful than independent work. However, like how I do magic with groups now is that a group comes together specifically for a certain operation and then disbands after it. So the last time I did group work, we all came together specifically for one initiation, and we all did it together, and then after it was like, okay, we're done, because the politics of the established lodge and orders, and it leads to gross power abuses.
Yep.
I see the same stuff. I've seen the same stuff happen in to be fair, I was mostly involved in left-hand path kind of orders, but the same stuff happened in those orders that we associate with like priests and pastors and that kind of stuff. And that was that's why I was just like, it was because the first time it happened, I was like, this is disgusting, this is gross, and like I left and I went and I joined another one, and then it happened again in that one, and then I left and I joined another one, and it happened again in that one. I was like, oh, this is just par for the course. This is what these people do. Yeah. Like it's like because the first time it happens, it's like, oh, maybe I was just hanging out with disgusting people, and then like after the second and third time, it's like, oh no, this is like literally just because of this shitty power dynamic. Because to those people, it's about being in control of people or feeling important, right? And so I just kind of like walked away from it. And like she's talking about like the politics and the drama and the woman covens. It happens in the men's groups too. Like it's just weirder. It's more like it's more hostile. Like if you cross somebody, then it's like, okay, you're like, I'm gonna come after you or something like that.
I mean, I was like, people are calling me like a devil worshiper and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like what? Okay, I don't even believe in that. So go, you guys are dumb, and they are LARPing. That's exactly what it is. Like, and that's what I said to them. I called them LARPers. I'm like, go do your live action role playing somewhere else, because this is not.
But I definitely enjoy working with people when we're all like. When it's like a single operation, right? Like if you can get a group of people together to celebrate like an occult holiday, or you can get a group of people together, like all of us, we are going to do some magic to make this certain thing happen, right? That's really effective, and the spirits and the deities are really responsive to that.
Yeah, but it's like it's vetting is important. It's the vetting part, and if you don't have control over that, you never really know what you've got in the group, right? So it's important to really know who you're working with. I think make sure they're on the same page as you. Yeah. Otherwise, you end up with a whole bunch of bullshit. So and creeps.
Creeps, yes, creeps.
Yeah. You want to do this box?
Okay, yeah. So I think I have Catholic sync practices, and there's a huge internet schism now where a trad subculture is emerging that causes drama. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the younger trad subgenre, and I don't see authentic. It's like debate bro religion. It's not actual like authentic spiritual practice. Like to me, like if your like religious practice is like getting online and yelling at people about the correct interpretation of the hypostatic relationship of the Trinity, how what is that doing for you other than like, oh, I'm right,
virtue signaling,
it's not
right?
it's not like a
virtue signaling. It's like, oh, look,
it doesn't look like authentic. I've always been a more personal, like I've always been more mystically inclined. Like it's about personal experience and personal relationship,
right?
And so when I've seen that trad cath trad orthodox movement coming up with the younger kids, and it's mostly about like debating theology, and it's about identity and culture, and it's not necessarily about can I connect to God.
The same guys that would be like, oh, your body count is more than 0, you're out. Like I feel like that's the same people. It's like
there's a little bit of a cross section.
They kind of spout these traditional values, but don't actually know what they mean, or like
Yeah,
outside?
Sarah, I was raised Catholic. I like the religion and I like the theology. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the church itself. But I didn't have any of the horrible experiences. Like, I didn't have the religious trauma that some people get. I just asked too many questions and they weren't
Answer?
yeah, they couldn't get they weren't able to answer them, and I was kind of like looked at as strange for asking those kind of questions. So
Yes. Yeah, that's always fun to be that
yeah,
squeaky wheel.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, and so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go do my own thing then.
Yep. You know, it is what it is.
But yeah, so I think if you guys don't have any more questions, we're gonna go into our chess meditation, and we're doing a psychic connection. We are trying to synchronize. We are getting in touch with the archetype of the magician. So you are coming into contact with the archetype of the magician on the tarot card. All four elements, all the heavens, everything becomes synthesized in this one archetype, and we are accessing that archetype through our chest over here. As we move forward through the weeks, we're going to keep strengthening this connection. And the reason that we are accessing this archetype is to identify with it, right?
Yes.
So we become the master magicians.
Right. This is the idea that we already all possess the tools that are needed,
Yes.
even if we're not aware. And that's to be able to get in touch with those aspects of the self that will allow us to be effective in our workings, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we're going to sit back. We're going to relax. We're going to go back into a little bit of a meditation. We're going to return to that trance state that we're looking for. So we're going to breathe in deep through our nose, out through our mouth, in through our nose, out through our mouth. We're going to start progressively relaxing our body, starting from the top of our head. We're going to move down, down, down. So we begin relaxing. I'm going to begin counting down from 5 to 1. With every number, we're going to descend into hypnagogia, descend into the liminal space. 5, descending. 4, safe, secure, comfortable, and in control. 3, approaching the threshold. 2, right there. And 1, into a deep state of trance. And we're going to begin visualizing our chest, visualizing that chest that we accessed last week. You're going to look at the chest, you're going to observe it. I want you to feel the energy coming off of it. Notice the colors. Notice the texture and the feel of the chest. Understand that feeling. We're going to reach for the chest and we're going to begin opening it. And you can peer inside the chest. And in this chest, you are accessing the magician. You're accessing the magician that is the bond between all of us here in this service. I want you to reach into the chest and I want you to pull out an object. Receive the object. Don't impress it. Pull it out. Take notice. Feel the power that is emanating from that object. Feel how natural that object is. And we're going to put that object back in the chest. This chest, that is our magician. That object we carry with us, it is our connection to the chest, to the magician. And we're going to step back from the chest after we place the object back in it and begin ascending back up. And I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And as you approach the surface, you're going to recall what that object was. 1, ascending. 2, comfortable, safe, and secure. 3, refreshed, rejuvenated. 4, you can feel the magician that binds us together. And 5, eyes open, wide awake. Welcome back.
I saw a purple bookmark
A purple bookmark.
and honeycomb.
Honeycomb.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why honeycomb?
Mm-hmm.
The honeycomb is associated with the Empress and with Venus.
Okay.
All right. I will write this down. Let me see.
Okay.
Woo!
What'd you guys get?
All right.
Oh.
4 things
Four
from
things.
Heather.
Ooh, what'd you get, Heather?
Awesome. Hourglass from Melissa.
Nice.
Today's the 30th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple. Apple from Why Is We Crazy? Hourglass from Melissa. Heather saw 4 things. Yeah, and then what were the feelings that you guys are associating with that, right? As we were trying to identify with this magician, this is going to be like a source of personal power for us, something that we can step back into when we need to assume the magician, right? The master of the universe, the intersection between above and below.
Okay.
Champagne glass.
A golden letter opener from Eric.
Watery energy. Champagne.
Huh. Chalice, basically.
Silver handcuffs. Interesting. I feel like I feel like we were doing, I was reading something about what am I thinking
I
of?
don't know. I don't know.
The handcuffs thing is resonating with me right now. I can't remember where it's from. A gorgeous snake. Gorgeous snake. I love the snake symbol. That's something I was on, I think, for last month. I kept having snake synchronicities.
A wooden wand.
Sarah, blue-white staff with a crystal on top. Water energy.
A lot of water. A lot of.
Yeah, so the staff is something been exploring recently. Watery.
Yeah.
The snake felt like the pure power of life. A wooden wand with lead weight, but not too heavy. Wooden wand, lead weight, not too heavy. Okay, cool.
Too long. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, water energy descended underwater.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I feel like this exercise, I've done this exercise before with another group of people, and at least like these group meditations where we kind of like relate to each other, what we see in the visions. And I feel like this underwater thing is a common theme when people are working together like this. But talking about the staff is a very interesting concept. Staff is a authoritative, as we were talking earlier, King Solomon. It's a difference between a staff and a wand. A wand is like the magician, but the staff is like the mage king. And the staff, utilizing that when we're holding court, right? When we are holding court with our powers, the spiritual powers, multiple of them. When we're directing multiple spiritual powers, magical powers, whatever, or spirits. You have an entourage of spirits, utilizing the staff in that way. But there is the Mandeans in the Ginza Rabbah, the ascension of the angel of Gnosis that breaks free of the fates. He does so with the staff. And that is like kind of the crafting of the staff is an important part of actualizing yourself as the angel of Gnosis and breaking all the chains that bind us, right? Yeah, the power that you have over the fates as you're utilizing the staff. But the thing is, the staff is the tool of a king, it is not the tool of a dictator or a tyrant. So you have to act like a king if you're going to be utilizing it. Be benefic, look after your kingdom, be merciful. Be wise. The letter opener was spinning on a point like a top. Felt like it wanted to open access. Very warm and safe feeling to benefic energy. Interesting. Golden letter opener. Huh. That's should.
Whoa.
Oh, hold on. I gotta check really quick.
You gotta check your notes.
I gotta check about the letter opener.
Yeah, you're gonna do that. It is so hot. Oh my gosh. Burning up all of a sudden.
Are you okay showing them one of the items in the chest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
We're
it
gonna
is.
see what's in the chest.
Shit, how did I not get that? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So.
It's this.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom,
Oh,
boom,
here,
boom.
wait.
It's in the scabbard right now, but we got the letter opener right here.
Yep.
It's
How's
it's like a faded gold. It's dirty.
It's very dirty. I've
Yeah.
had it for many decades. Ugh, yes. Yes, there is a letter opener. That's crazy.
Interesting.
Yep. Yep.
Very warm and safe feeling. Yeah. So we're keeping in this chest. This chest is going to join us on our journey together as magicians.
Yeah.
I saw silver in your chest as soon as the stream turned on, and he pulled out the little bell.
Interesting.
As soon as the stream turned on, you pulled up. Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't show you guys last week, but let me see. I've got this little Thursday. I don't know if you can hold the link.
Do you have it there?
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
I thought I did. I thought I wrote it down. The yellow, blue.
You did. I don't know where. Because I said the same thing.
Yeah,
so.
my writing's terrible. I can't read it.
I know. We
Um,
both have doctor handwriting. We can't read our own notes. It's fun. Okay. I have a client coming up. So
okay.
yeah.
All right, guys. So
Right.
it's been nice. With the chest, it's joining us on our journey together as magicians. And we're gonna use this as like kind of like the focal point for as we're working together, we're moving on. And this is our archetypal master magician. He is here, you know. So whenever we want to pull that out and we want to assume that out, we're gonna get back to our chest and we're going to just like let the energy come out of the chest and move through us, right? So this will hopefully start bringing us onto the same page together as we're working together,
Let me check this.
leaning on the power of the group, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So, and with that being said, we'll give a license to depart.
Yes.
We appreciate you guys joining us.
So
We love
much.
it. Yeah.
Yes. I look forward to this every week.
O soul, O great luminary, thank you for your guidance on our journey. Thank you for your wisdom, for your gnosis. Please continue to walk with us, to help us, and to help bring us into participation with you and to identification with you so that we may become living examples of your powers here in the material realm. Oh, thank you, soul. Mote it be.
So it is. Okay.
All right, guys.
Hey,
We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and message me if you want access to the thing. I have a client in a minute, but after that I can share it out. Okay.